What's going on, guys? Deload week, heading into a sevens rugby tournament. This was actually last Sunday, messing around. This will be my next deadlift variation that I go to. It will be the reverse banded deficits, and it will replace the block purple band. So I'm going to run that just the same way as I did before. AMRAPs once a week, add weight every time, see where it takes us. We got our reverse banded incline press on Monday there. I went with a new band, the purple band. You would think that it would be a lot easier. It was not. Those bands, they kind of run out midway through the rep, and then you are hit with a ton of bricks with that weight. But I was super happy to get the 3 plates there. That was dope. I then moved on to other plyometric stuff. You saw the lateral jumps over the bench there. Seated tricep pushdowns. I really like this. I think I'm going to run this up a little bit. I like this variation a lot. Hammer curl work. Doing more stuff on a Monday than I usually would, knowing that it would be a lessened week leading into the rugby tournament. You can see some just good old vertical jumps. Feeling very poppy, very explosive. So all of the hinging and stuff like that made a difference. I am so thankful to God that I can do some squatting again. And not that I wasn't squatting before, but, you know, nothing hits like good old ATG squats to me. So we got some velocity tracked SSB chain squats here. Accumulating some meaningful strength volume here without getting too deep into the scientific weeds and stuff like that. I'm tracking the velocity of that, and it allowed me to pick the weight that was necessary. I haven't done this exercise or this variation ever. Obviously, I've done SSB, but I wouldn't know where to start. I wouldn't know what weight to load on the bar that would be meaningful, that wouldn't either staple me or would be speed reps. So I use my velocity tracker to determine that, anywhere between 0.3 and 0.5 meters per second. These all moved at an average of 0.4 meters per second. So it was 4 sets of 4 with the equivalent of 265 on the bar plus 40 pounds of chain. So 305 at the top. And yeah, it wasn't quite speed reps, but it definitely wasn't a grinder either. So I'm going to run that up. I wanted to give it some room to slow cook. And that's exactly what I'm going to do with that. We got our banded cleans, new bands here, by the way. So we ran that up. Also velocity tracked on that. What was really crazy is that some of the heavier weights were much faster velocity. So I always say this, right? When you think you're providing max intent, you're not. Your body will always put in some sort of governor, you know what I mean? Slow stuff down, reduce force, this kind of thing. But once you see those numbers in real time, it allows you in your brain to be like, no, that wasn't fast, you know, and that is valuable for an athlete, right? Because nothing is slow, especially in my sport, rugby. So next day, which would be the last day of working out this week, Wednesday, we have some snatch complexes here, power snatch, 2 hang snatch, 2 hang power snatch, 95 pounds. Form is absolute dog water still, so we're working on that. I think I'm going to ditch the full snatches, but I am going to keep those hang power snatches in there. I do definitely find some value in that. Another funny thing is my traps were absolutely smoked after this. So, I mean, that shrugging motion, I think, is what got them. Here's a big OHP PR coming up. So I'm super proud of this, given that I haven't been doing overhead press at all for like 4 months. Just been doing incline press. So that was 205. That was an absolute war. Like, I legit felt like I was going to pass out midway. I just stuck with it and got it up. This is a new incline variation with my Swiss bar. It's going to replace my blue banded pin press. It's a pin press with chains with the Swiss bar. So changing up the variation a little bit. Again, giving myself room to grow on this. This would end up being my top single, the 245s and the 2.5 plus the chain. This one buried me alive, so I'm done there. We found the top, I guess. It's always funny to do the slide of shame after you miss a rep. Tricep extensions continuing to go up. This was sets of 12 with 50s. as they should, right? Like my arms are short and stubby, so I'm definitely like advantaged for this variation. Not like somebody with longer arms, that's going to be more difficult for them. Like that's kind of common sense to a lot of people, but some people, I guess what I'm trying to say is some people, they expect like tall people to be able to do ATG squats and short people to be super good deadlifters with short arms and stuff. It's just you're built for certain things, man, This was day after the tournament. This was today, so Sunday. This is my full body recovery workout, so a little bit different take on it than what I usually do, just kind of feel good, sets at 10. I wanted a little bit of meaningful something out of this, so I went with my Man Maker Complex here, which is a power clean to a front squat to a push press. This is the top single here, which is 205. As far as how my body feels after yesterday, 7's rugby, without getting too deep into the weeds, a lot more running than 15's. So legs are kind of torched, especially lower leg. Not used to all that volume of cutting and twisting and stuff like that. Got smashed in the face, so my chin hurts. That's normal, you know what I mean? Left shoulder's a little weird after the 7 scrums, which are kind of stupid. They're not like real scrums. They wheel and stuff, and, it is what it is on that. I finished with some back extensions, some band pull-aparts, and some twists here for the core. We're going to be leading into some fun training ahead. We don't have anything rugby related for a while, so we're going to put our nose right to the grindstone again and get the deadlift rolling, get the squat rolling, and get that damn press up and running too, man. So here's a picture of the greatest rugby team in Arizona. If you don't believe me, then you a bum. Thanks for watching, guys.